Okay, so this is the demonstration video for the Bailey Autograph 796. So we'll start with the outside and work our way to the inside. So I'll walk round the service points and the controls on the outside. Okay, the first one we come to is the gas locker. You'll need 2 gas bottles for this. That's how these open. So you firstly put the key in, turn it, wait till the red, so it's showing you the red barrel popping out there, and then you turn them and you can open the lockers. That's the same for all the lockers. Okay, so this is the gas locker. The bit that we're interested in is this part here. That attaches directly to the bottles, but it's reverse thread, so you're going anti-clockwise to tighten it, and that tightens directly into the bottles. Now you need a spanner to get that tight into the bottles. This here is what they call a crash valve. So what happens there is, should you be running the gas while you're travelling along, which I don't really recommend, but it can be done on this vehicle, that will sense that there's an impact and switch the supply off to the vehicle. Now when you first connect to the gas, you need to press that in and ensure that that's opened to allow gas to flow into the vehicle. There's also an inbuilt one separately on the regulator, but that comes from the factory, so that needs to be pressed in as well. This here is an external gas socket, so should you wish to run a barbecue on gas outside the vehicle or a gas heater, then this is the socket that you would tap into the gas bottle supply. So this nozzle here, you attach that to the tube that goes off to your gas appliance, and that end goes into the vehicle. So it's just pushed in like that, and then so your tube comes off here, so then you've got a supply of gas to whatever gas appliance you want. To release that, you just push that collar in and it releases the bayonet fitting. You switch it on and off via that tap there, so that's got an on and off position in there. Next one along, that's the mains supply. So there's a mains socket for outside, so if you want a light or want to watch television under your awning if it's good weather. Also you can plug into an external socket for the television signal. You shouldn't really need to do that because the television aerial already fitted to this vehicle. This is your storage locker. In there, that's that black package there, that is if you should unluckily have a puncture, and then that is the refill and the compressor to refill and repair the puncture. This is the winder for the awning, which is stored in there. To get the awning out, you clip the hook into there and wind the awning out, but I'll show you that when you come and you're here to collect it. Okay, on the back panel we've got the reverse camera that needs to be kept clean. This is the bike rack. So the way this works is that it unclips like that. He says, just unclip that one. Okay, so that section comes down like that. The bikes sit on those racks and they go over the tyres to secure them to the rack, and then these arms fixed to the crossbar, and that's what keeps the bikes in position as you're travelling. More access to the storage. That locker goes right the way through. That's a vent for the boiler that needs to be kept clear of debris, and if you're too close to another vehicle or too close to a hedge or a fence, that will sense that the carbon monoxide is going back into that vent and it won't work. This is the toilet. This is how you empty the toilet waste. So you lift that up, slide this out. Okay, so to empty this, you are taking this funnel like that, unscrew the cap at the end, and pour it down the waste disposal point. As you're pouring, press that button and it lets air in as the liquid's going out so that it doesn't glug and it's a pure flow of waste coming out. To put the chemical into this when the cassette's out, as it is now. You slide that back, open that up, and then you've got access to the cassette. So that's where you put the blue chemical and a little bit of water to rinse it out with. And that's also where you can put the water in, rinse it out, swill it about, and then empty it once more. When you're sliding it back in, that opening valve must be in that position, otherwise it won't go back in. Moving on to the next point, this is where you fill the fresh water. It can be filled from inside, I'll show you that as well. But it comes with this blue hose attachment. So this end goes into the vehicle, like so, and then that end goes into your tap that's either at home or on the sites. They've got the standard hose type fitment. So that's just a bayonet fitting. So that would be going into the tap. So that when you arrive at site, that's the bit that's already existing. So that green section, it's just like a hose pipe, domestic hose pipe. This is the main socket, and that's where that goes in. The end that goes into the vehicle is this with the lid on it. So that slides into that section, but can you see how the lid is lifted up to a 90 degree? So if I pull, it's just difficult with one hand. If I pull this out, it's going into the socket like that. So now we'll move on to the inside. Before we go inside, I'll just show you the how you get access to the bonnet. So you're opening the passenger door, and that's the catch for the bonnet. If you need to jump start this vehicle, and that's the positive, just down there, and the negative is that nodule just there. Okay, so as we come into the vehicle, this is where the control panel is. So I'll deal with the main control panel for the vehicle first. So that is the master switch. So that switches your vehicle on and off essentially. Okay, so that's your warning light for outside, and that's your main lights for inside. So that switches all the lights on, as you can see there. They can be switched individually on separate switches. Okay, so we run through the control panel. Okay, so if you're pressing up and down here, you're just scrolling through the menu. That's your water level, so we're showing 60% fresh water. Wastewater's at 10%. This is if you wanted to fill the vehicle from an external water container, but you shouldn't ever really need to do that, because you just fill it with the hose pipe as I demonstrated. External temperature, user settings, you can go into that if you want. It's just really changing the time. You shouldn't really need to mess with any of these, but you can adjust what it's telling you and how you want it to read, but I really wouldn't worry too much about those. I just stopped the video there because I didn't know how to get out of the menu, so you just go to the bottom. And it gives you the option, come out of the main menu. Exit main menu. Okay, so internal temperature, battery select, so you can actually select your vehicle battery or your leisure battery. Leave it on leisure unless you're really desperate, because if you flatten your engine battery, you're in trouble. So leisure battery, it's not drawing any amps, it's showing here, even though the lights are on. So 11.5 volts, we're not plugged in, so that's perfectly normal. If we weren't drawing, if the lights weren't on, then that would probably show 12.5. And we're back to time. I'll adjust the time so it's correct. Okay, so that switches your water pump on. So what that does, that button there, what that does is it pumps water from the tank, which I'll show you in a second, where we filled from outside, to the taps. Now you need to purge the system, so at the moment it would be full of, if you were to fill an empty tank, all the pipe work and the boiler would just be full of air. You need to switch the taps on until you get a pure flow of water coming out of the tap, and then you know that all the air has been purged out of the system. I'll show you on the taps in a second. So this is the control for the heating. Really simple control. Switch it on via that system there. So this is the Aldi central heating, so it's radiators. You can get some. Okay, so as you go into the menu, really simple to use this.